an 83.3% win rate, really nice, a 9.25% gain, which I think right now passes most prop firm challenges, right? What is going on, traders? A new week, so a new backtesting video, right? So what I did is, because I know that in TradingView, you can go back, like, you can look at the data of last week. And I do understand that people think I'm doing that. I've read that in the comments. So what I did now is I'm going to cover last week of the previous year, right? So if we look at the charts here right now, we are right now going to start Monday, the 21st of November, 2022. And as you probably know, on TradingView, there is not really the possibility to go back that far. So I hope that this helps settle your skepticism. Like, I mean, there will still be ways for people to cheat it, right? And don't just trust the data that I'm about to show you and jump in the markets. That's absolutely not what I'm trying to reach with these type of videos. I want you to still form your own opinion. All I'm presenting is a model that I personally use that works for me and that I have collected data on. And I encourage you guys to do the same. And what I'm doing is publicly building this data, which will also be available publicly real soon. I will announce that in the next video. You will be able to get a free data set of all the trades that I took. Now let's actually get into the video. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. So what is this model? Really quickly recapped this model. I call it the continuation model. And it is kind of based on ICT concepts. It's not fully ICT concepts because you don't need anything other than this simple pattern to form. We know that the market is driven by liquidity. The market does a couple of things, right? It either ranges or it trends, and it hunts liquidity or it displaces, right? And this model basically uses all of those things. So we have a couple variations. I'm going to quickly cover those. There is a full extended video on this, which I will link in the description. I think this explanation will definitely do, but if you really want to get some more details, I encourage you to first watch this backtesting session. And if you like it, you can get into the nitty and gritty on that specific video that I will link down below in the description. All right, so the first version is going to be a bullish variation. For the bullish variation, what we want to see is an uptrend going, right? So we want to be seeing higher highs and higher lows, right? And then at one point, one of those higher lows, they get violated, they get swept. And then we do see that continuation to the upside. This means that you can probably guess that a lot of people with positions to the long side got swept. They got tagged out of their positions. And this is the market grabbing the fuel to continue making higher moves. We don't just enter there, right? No, we want to see displacement through that previous high, indicating that the market doesn't have intention of just liquidating this and then reversing. No, we want to see price displacing through there. Then we are going to try to capture an entry in a fair value gap of that discounted zone that we have. So the discounted zone is basically everything below 50%. We're going to place a limit order there. Stop loss goes below the last FEG, and we are going to target at least 2R or something around 2R. Can be the low hanging fruit, but I would always go for at least 2R. That has worked the best for me personally. The second variation is going to be where there's a breaker block, right? So right here we have a breaker block. We could possibly even have an FEG in there, which is going to be even stronger, right? Let's imagine that we also have an FEG in here combined with a breaker block, which would be a unicorn setup. At that point, we have a really strong confluence, right? And then we enter off of that, do the exact same thing. And for the short end, it's exactly the same thing, right? So we violate a lower high. We continue to create a lower low with a market structure shift. We tap into an FEG, target 2R, and that's it basically. So that was the intro. Let's now actually get into the rules of this backtesting session. We are going to try and target at least 10%. So this 10% is going to be in 1 week. And I know it might sound crazy, but we are going to be trading the 1 minute. So let us actually get right into the video here. We will, by the way, be trading the London session, and we will also be trading the New York session. The software I'm using right here is called FX Replay, and you can basically backtest strategies. You play bar by bar. There is no way to rewind, so there is no way for me to cheat here, and I think that's really important for myself as well. For a lot of people, it will be. What I will do is each time I take a position, I will talk about it. I will say why I took it. If I see one set up that doesn't make sense for me, I will also explain why. Basically, we're just going to be trading during the London kill zone and during the New York kill zone. We are not going to be trading in between them. We're not going to trade after them or before them. Simple rules. All right, so super mechanical, super easy. What can we see? We can see that we are trending down. We have lower highs and lower lows. So let's just start here. We have this high, then we put in this low, and then have this high, we put in this low. So overall, if we look at the bigger picture, we are quite bearish. Now we also have these fractal, these internal points, and I got a comment last session, and yes, indeed, you can trade internal structure. So what do we do right here? We sweep liquidity, as we can see. So the market quickly goes above a previous high and then starts shooting on down. Now we look at a low that basically took out a high, which is also going to be defined as a low, which is this one, right? This low right here managed to create displacement that took out this high. So this right here is going to be our market structure shift. Now, if we just see this wick and then the reversal, we are not going to think about entries. Now, what do we see here? We see a really big candle close below there. So we are indeed going to grab an entry here. What do? We use the high, we expand it to the low, and it could be that this candle retraces further back, right? It even goes lower, as you can see. So we have to extend our zone. And now it seems like the market might be reversing. So what are we going to do? We are going to look for an entry opportunity. What do we have? We have our breaker block right here. And we also have an FEG matching up with that. And that is going to be around our equilibrium zone. So in our premium zone for shorts. So right on the beginning of that breaker block, let's place our order. And what were the mechanical rules? We place our stop loss behind, just above the last FEG covering candle number 1. So if we look at the last FEG, that's going to be this one right here. So where's our stop going to be? Our stop is going to be above this high, which is candle number 1. We covered that. And what are we going to target? We are going to target 2R. Let's place the trade here for 1%. And let's see if we get filled. On this particular trade, I didn't even notice, but we actually got tagged out of the market right here. So yeah, we followed our rules and we got tagged out by like a little tick, which is not a problem. But what do we see right now? We get presented with another opportunity. Overall, we are quite bearish. We swept this high right here. This was a sweep because our stop loss got taken. So we can know that other people are going to have their stop losses there. And now we start moving to the downside. Now we look for a low that broke a high. This low broke this high with this displacement leg. We have our market structure shift right here. So let me actually remove all the clutter from the first trade. That was indeed a loss and it did count onto the balance, right? So yes, this model does lose. And then if we take a look, we have a fair value gap that is left intact right here. And we also have our breaker block right here. These do align and price actually already passed that. So I am not afraid to actually take another entry right here. What will we cover? In this case, we will be covering the candle before the last imbalance or FEG we had. If we take a closer look right here, we have a volume imbalance. Right? And that's the reason you see price pushing up here. So we are going to cover the high of that sweep in this case. Now, again, we target 2R, which, and you will see that this often happens, is going to come down to the low hanging fruit right here. Let's actually place a trade. This is going to be a market order. Now let's see what happens. All right, so we run straight for TP. Super nice. And by the way, to clarify, my premium and discount zone was still anchored to that last sweep that we had right here. Now this sweep, and we could even say, hey, it didn't sweep this, but then it would have swept this high, these highs, right? So this is still a sweep. We anchor it right here and we go down to the displacement leg. And then we can see that our entry could have entered from equilibrium. So our entry was indeed valid. Let's see if we can find ourselves another trade. All right, so the London session passed. We got past 5 a.m. So no trades here. We move to the New York session. So just explaining what I'm seeing right now. Right now I'm seeing that we are really rangy. So this is not a place where the continuation model is going to work out fine. That's just something that I can give you. However, now it shows us that the market is really starting to displace higher. Now zooming out right here, we can see that we have been pretty bearish, and this is just an additional confluence. We can assume that since the Asian highs are still respected and the London highs are still respected, we know that there is a lot of liquidity resting on the buy side. So longs, that's going to be an extra confluence for longs here, right? So we could possibly be thinking about longs. Now, if we take a look at the price action that helped us form this clearly bullish leg, we can see that we have this low right here, which actually swept this and this low, and then this placed above that high. So now what we could do is use our FIB tool again to establish our premium and discount zone. And again, this is still going to be extended most likely. We just anchor it to the highest point here. So now it seems to start to be willing to pull back. Right here we have a breaker block, or I'm sorry, no, this is not a valid breaker block because it didn't take out the low here. I'm sorry, of course it did, my mistake. So I would look at this as the breaker block, but that is going to be above our discounted zone. So we are going to use the fair value gap. This one has been mitigated, so I will be using this one as a reference. I'm gonna smack an order on there and see if we could possibly get a fill here. What do we cover? We cover the last candle before the FEG. So this one, what are we gonna target? Normally 2R, but in this case, we target the low hanging fruit. Let's risk 1%. Of course, we're not gonna do a market fill on this one. And let's see how this trade is gonna play out. Right, so it seems like the breaker block actually played out right here. Now, still we have that buy side up there. So this only means basically that we can extend our premium and discount zone. We can start to really extend that. And now we see that our breaker block indeed starts to become discounted. It's still a little bit in a premium, and also we tapped into it. So I do think that the institutional support that we had is going to be weakened. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to still leave my my order down here because I don't see a clear sweep anywhere else yet, right? We need to sweep liquidity to continue this push higher. So I'm assuming that the lows that we are putting in right now, this one and this one, is going to be inducements, right? So right here, there are going to be orders stacked. And all I'm going to basically do is extend my TP here because that's going to be my low hanging fruit because I'm expecting a continuation. Right, let's see if we have... Oh, that is really clean price action, as you can see. Really clean reaction to that FEG. That's just the power of ICT concepts, right? I'm not really liking this reversal, but it could be that we are balancing out this fair value gap. I personally don't really want to see this candle right here being violated. If we do, I might consider closing the position. All right, so it seems like this FEG is indeed holding, and there we go. We hit our TP, but honestly, like... this might not be a fill on a live account or even a demo account or a prop firm account. So let's see. Okay, so either how we would have been able to capture the full, 3.29 RR. So right now we're up 4.3%, which is quite great. At this point, capturing a big move like this, I'm not really interested in any more trades on this day. So I'm going to go to the next day. Alrighty, we are entering the London session right here. As for now, the direction is kind of unclear. We do see that previously we were trending quite bearish, but that doesn't really mean much because there is now going to be a bunch of new volume coming in, which is going to be deciding the direction. So we had this fake move, this little Judas swing to the downside here, and now we see a really strong push upwards. So my bias is automatically going to be bullish till we at least take out the Asian highs right here. And we also still have those London highs, and then even higher up we have more Asian high liquidity. So let's see if we can catch a potential bullish setup. The last low we put in, we could argue that that was this one right here, right? Because this is the low that actually took out this high. This is also going to be a smart money trap, but that's not something I'm going to go into. That's more for the elite members. We tapped into that. So now, yeah, I would like to see us displacing higher, breaking a high, and then I could, I can definitely use this leg. See, we have some wiggle room. I can definitely use this leg for a possible continuation model setup. So this leg is quite extended. We have the breaker block right here. Just using this area. It doesn't really matter how you mark it out. Some people do it like this, some will do it like this. I like to look at the biggest body we have, and I'm assuming that the most volume, the most orders are going to be resting in there. Now, actually, we could refine this one to being the breaker block, right? Because it did take out this low. So this is actually going to be our breaker block in this instance. There's also an FEG there. What we would have to cover is going to be the low all the way down here. So the stop loss is going to be quite wide in this case. What I will do is, because we have a little fair value gap right here, I'm going to be a little more conservative with my stop loss. I'm just going to cover like a pip below this FEG and then target our 2R. This is not looking too unrealistic to me. Let's place the order. and see if the market is going to favor us today or not. I must say, if we do break this previous high right here before we get filled, then I'm going to cancel the order. Right, it gets filled. And yo, would you just look at this, man? Damn, the breaker block is being respected to the tick. That's insane. I think actually if we refine it down to this, look at that. It's so clean. All right. At this point, we're taking out this low right here. It is still possible because, of course, if we look at the FEG, there is imbalance left there. So it is all still possible. But, and a big but, if we break this high right now, I am going to manage my stop below here because that is going to become a sweep of liquidity. All right, we do break that. So now I'm going to manage my stop. It's a logical level to manage because if price is going to come back down, we already took out the liquidity. So it doesn't have any business coming back down unless it wants to take out liquidity from the sell side. And we do have these relative equal lows right here. And there we go. Boom. Ooh, really, really clean trade. And it's almost getting to 5 a.m. So I'm going to skip to the New York session here. All right, sorry, I quickly had to pause the recording for a second, but I think it is up and running again. Yes, it shows recording. That's perfect. All right, let's see what New York brings us. Let's actually see what did we do. We took out a really strong high right here, starting to really reverse. So first side, I think what the New York session is going to do is, because of course this is going to be a manipulation leg, right? So overall, I think we might be bullish. But I think we will first go for the London lows, perhaps even the Asian lows. We'll see what happens. All right, so it seems like I was wrong. It seems like price just rebalanced this last imbalance that we had right here. And this is just showcasing the precision of the markets, right? Look at that. It was imbalanced right here. We mitigated that. And then we had that really strong fueled move. And actually, we immediately have a setup, it seems, right? So as we can see, so this low right here, it took out a high. We swept that. I'm going to zoom in for you guys because it's really difficult to see, I assume. But as you can see, we just took that out by a little pipette. And now we are starting to displace higher. So I'm going to start pulling my fib tool here. Seems like we're still extending a little bit. If I start to see aggressive moves lower, I will place my order. Seems like it might halt here. All right, looking at this price action right here. What am I seeing? I am seeing the last FEGs being over here, right? So I'm just going to couple the two of those together. Now, what I'm also seeing is that we have a breaker block right here. It's not a strong one, and the elite members will know why. Little hints right here. This is actually going to be, this area, I would say, is going to be our strong breaker block as well. So it does line up with that FEG, but I'm not going to really take the breaker block into account for now. What I will do is I will use the FEG, the last FEG that we have. I'm going to use that for my entry. Is going to be the most discounted entry that we can possibly get. As for our target, in this case, the low-hanging fruit seems fine. Let's place the order. I don't want to see too strong moves to the downside here, though. All right, so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to manage my stop at break even. The main reason for that is because we basically induced more liquidity, right? We induced liquidity, we mitigated all the imbalance that we have. We do have some remaining below here, but we mitigated the 50% of the imbalances. We mitigated this last FEG. There is no reason for price to return other than to take out this liquidity. And we just induced this, right? So it's very unlikely to me that if we go for it, that we are not going to take out these lows right here. I was also talking about that London liquidity that we have right here. So I want to see a clean reaction, a clean push to the upside, or I am out. And damn, I really thought we were going to get filled here for a second, but seems like we don't. Okay, what is price going to do now? What is it doing here? Going for this low. It did take out this first low that we had right here. We're quite rangy, so I really want to see us either breaking this high or really displacing below this low before I'm going to have a bias to take continuation trades off of. All right, so this is clear displacement through that high right here. I really do like this price action. What I'm seeing right here is that we did sweep this and continued higher. But of course, this low didn't really take out a high, so nothing valid so far. Induced relative equal lows right here. And now it seems like the market is going to be reversing on us. Before 12, we can still take a potential entry. But I don't really like trading after 11, honestly. And no real setup. So let's head for the next day. All right, we are really bullish here. Really bullish. I would love to see a low taken out, which we do right here. If we could now break this high again, I would definitely love to ride the wave. Ooh, so now we actually have a confirmed downtrend, right? Because it swept this, it went higher. We basically have an ICT 2022 model right here, as you can see, right? So we swept this, had a market structure shift. We had a tap into that FVG and then a strong move downwards, right? So now I would love to catch a continuation trade to the downside to at least the Asian liquidity, perhaps even lower. We'll see. We do have a sweep right here, but we didn't seem to follow through. We now created relative equal lows here, pushing up again. To me, we are still quite bearish. Didn't really sweep anything here, did we? No, right? We have the relative equal lows being taken out, and now it's after 5. So let's go to the New York session. All right, what I'm seeing right here is that we took out the Asian liquidity and started to really strongly react to that. So for now, my bias is going to be bullish until we take out the London liquidity, because I doubt that New York will first be taking out these lows again, because there are not going to be much sellers left at this point. I'm sorry, buyers, of course, are not going to be much buyers left. They all got stopped out somewhere around here. Let's see if we get a nice continuation to the upside here, because this is a picture perfect bullish trend, isn't it? For the 1 minute especially. Right here we did sweep, but this right here, I'm curious to see what we do have a follow through. That's quite clear. Ah, damn, I think I might have already missed the entry. I didn't expect such a big candle. This will likely be news anyway, I think. It's not going to come back to tag us in, that's for sure. Now this might actually be indicating that we might actually come back. And what we can see is that we have this beautiful, beautiful FEG remaining right here. But honestly, no, I'm not really liking this price action at all. We mitigated most of this FEG already. So if we were to come down, it's likely to sweep some liquidity. We will either sweep this or even this low or even these, because we are now building up trendline liquidity as well, right? Let's see. Ooh, and there we go. That's a sweep right there. So now if we do displace above this high, right? Because this high right here took out a low, so this low. If we now displace through, we have a lot of trapped people on the selling side, right? So a lot of people will be taking shorts around here, I do suppose. So we are going to be looking for longs. I want to see it close above, perhaps a little higher. Yeah, this is looking quite good. Let's remove this and let's use our tip tool right here to see. We do have an FEG, this one. You can cover this candle's low and target the low hanging fruit. I'm just assuming that we will reverse it. Perhaps I have to adjust it. I'm gonna have to adjust our order. We don't really have anything interesting that we can take an entry off of anyway. So, right, so it's gonna be close to our entry. Now this, of course, will be the low hanging fruit, right? Or 2.5R. Damn, it's no fill, and we continue to push even higher. But again, we do have a sweep. So we could potentially capitalize on that. We have this sweep right here. We then push through this high. So this is going to be our breaker block. There we go. This is going to be the displacement leg. Did we actually? Okay. Running up quite heavily here. I am interested in an entry here, honestly. Price has to come back, and I doubt that the price is going to shoot down even further. It was quite efficient in its delivery here. I'm going to place another ride on the equilibrium, and I am going to cover the last FEG that we have. I'm not going to really place it below here, because if it comes to here, it's very likely going to go all the way to the low here, right? Let's see. And I will also manage break even as soon as we take out the previous high. Let's place this order. It's going close. Okay. Now I do want to see quite a clean move to the upside. I have this FEG tapped into. Yeah, I don't really want to see price coming below this anymore. Right, at this point, we are going break even. And let's see if we get filled. Getting after 11. And it seems like we are reversing off of this sweep right here that we take out something on the left. Let me quickly check that. Quite interested in that. Not really, honestly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take profit as soon as we start rebalancing this FEG. Simply because I think we are going to reverse here. We still have this imbalance left below here. I think we might just reverse. And there we go. We took our profits. We took our profits at, let's see, 0.9R. Up 7% right now. And it's Wednesday, so we still have 2 more days. However, Thursdays are usually terrible for me. So we'll see what that brings. All right, London session has arrived. Ooh, this is a long video, already recording for almost an hour. It's crazy. All right, so we did have a sweep right here. We are quite bearish at this point. I'm trusting this bearish trend because we did take out the liquidity from the Asian session already right here. And now it seems like we swept here. So I want to see a little bit of follow through. If I do see the follow through, I will consider an entry. I want to see displacement going below. And there we go. We do get that displacement actually. Let me mark out the sweep for you guys, the one I'm looking at. All right, we swept this. We also swept all of these highs to the left here. We swept all of this, really clean push to the downside. This is a clean PO3 setup. It seems like we are pulling back here indeed. So let's see if we can possibly get an entry somewhere. We have this FEG. I am, however, going to place the order right at equilibrium and then target 2R. All right, so we did tap into the FEG, but we, of course, didn't get filled where we wanted to be filled. This, of course, is going to happen. Don't get frustrated by this. There will always be a next trade on another day, right? It seems like the market wants to flip bullish again, mainly because we really displaced through this. Okay, yeah, we're going to flip bullish. And I see a lot of people trading the continuation based on a sweep like this, but this doesn't really make sense, right? This is not really a significant level. There's not going to be too many stop losses here. You really need to think about where are the stop losses going to be. Right now, this to me, this is more of a significant level, right? It's existing out of more candles. It's a really clean low. We do take that out and we are now displacing above its previous high. So at this point, I am interested in a continuation trade to the upside. But I do want to see a bit more displacement above these highs right here. Actually, yeah, no, it's this high. We had our close, going to push 2.5 pips, yeah. Honestly, this is fine to take entries from. I need to stay as mechanical as possible for you guys as well. So what I will do is I will take an entry off of the fair value gap that we have that is still open right here. Stop loss is going to go below. Let's also cover this volume imbalance. And then our target is going to be 2R, solid 2R. There we go. And as soon as we break the high and not hit stop loss, of course, then we will manage break even. Ooh, that stop loss was really almost hit here. Okay, yeah, no, I want to go break even here. I don't want to see us come back, even though we have some imbalance left right here, of course. Let me think. Let me see what's happening here. All right, so I'm going to manage this at half risk. So again, we had a sweep, right? So this is just, actually, we can potentially stack an order here. Let's actually do that. To explain my thinking here, because I think it's important for you guys to know, of course, right? So right here, what did we do? We took out a high right here. We swept this high. This is quite obvious, right? We swept this high. We are now pulling back. We needed more liquidity. This was that liquidity. We swept that. And now we are starting to see that we are continuing higher, right? So this right here is going to be a sweep. We swept there. We have an FEG. We have imbalance remaining. We have imbalance right here. And that is why I'm managing my stop right here. We could take an order off of this. If price does reach for it, we are going to again target 2R, which is going to be this high. And this is a quick scalp, but it's really high probability. This is going to be, you're going to see me even take this on the 15 second on the NASDAQ on futures here. If we get filled, that is. Okay, no, it doesn't seem like we are going to get filled, but the idea was there, right? I'm going to cancel this order, by the way. Doesn't really make too much sense anymore now because we already took out the liquid. Let's see. As you can see, I would have been stopped out because, yeah, of course, the ID was gone, right? We took out that high already. Ooh, and I actually traded after 5. That is not allowed, by the way, but did it anyway. All right, again, same scenario as the previous day, I think, right? So we first take out that Asian session, and if we see that happening, we usually see a continuation to the other side, right? So right here, we take out the Asian session and the London session. So now I think we are going to have a continuation to the upside on our New York session. Why? Because there's liquidity above the Asian and London session here, right? Take notes, boys and girls, take notes here. We swept this, but this doesn't really have a follow through, right? So there was no follow through from this low, so no continuation entries here. Even though I do think price is going to go higher, still need to base it on something mechanical, something analytical that I can track in the future, right? All right, it did sweep here. And I really want to jump into longs here. So as you can see, we swept that. That's eye training right there. You will spot those if you look at the charts, the amount of time that I did. We have the follow through. So honestly, we can start thinking about a possible entry right here. See how far price is going to go. Okay, displacing above this high, which is, see, right? I think it's going to try and pull back to this imbalance now. So This is where we can start thinking about possibly placing our order. We have these candles where we have our FEGs. Let's smack an order on those. We will cover candle number 1 and we target the low hanging fruit. Let's place the order. All right, so that we just missed this trade, and at this point, to me, it's becoming invalid. Yeah, to me, this is invalid mainly because these 3 candles already gave away to me that this was likely a sweep. So right now, what I'm thinking is that the market might actually think about reversing right here. Let's remove our order and see what happens. Market is reversing here. So what I'm thinking is that we will likely take out these relative equal lows that we put in. And then I do think we will continue up higher, of course. We put in another relative equal low. At this point, I would be interested in shorts somewhere up here because we swept here. Respect. Now in this point, another block becomes valid. I'm not going to go into details. That's going to remain for the elite members. By the way, the elite program is going to be invite only really soon. So if you're still interested in that, it's going to be in the description. But this could be a really clean short right here. As you can see, bam, targeting those relative equal lows. And then at this point, I'm not really interested in trades anymore because now the market's just a mess. We took out everything on each side. So I'm going to skip to the next day. All right, Friday. I like Fridays. I usually make money on Fridays to go into the weekend with peace of mind. For some reason, it happens. All right, this is a beautiful PO3 play again. Something I teach elaborately in the elite membership, of course. We have our accumulation phase, we have our relative equal lows, then we have our manipulation, and then right here you can catch a really safe short somewhere around here, right? You should be able to catch some kind of short. I'm pretty sure that we will, I'm not saying that this high is going to stay intact, but I'm saying that these lows are going to go not too long after we took all of this out, right? So to me, it is really showing some bearish momentum. We have our confirmed bearish trend as well. So if we do sweep again, I am actually interested in a continuation model entry here. Let's see, can we close below? Yes, we can. That's nice. Let us see. Still pushing lower. And now it's starting to reverse. Let's see what we have in our premium zone. We have the breaker block and we have an FEG around that area as well. So this could be a good entry. I'm just going to go above that high. Then we also have the sweep of liquidity. And I'm going to cover candle number 1, targeting the low-hanging fruit for 2R. Place the order. Let's see. Dude, this backtesting session has honestly been really harsh, man. Look at this. This has also been my luck today, by the way. My trades just didn't get filled. So annoying. Also didn't sweep. Yeah, and off we go. Of course, yes. Yeah, that's going to just completely run. So let's go to the New York session here. All right, so what I'm thinking is that we're going to definitely take out the previous day low because we induced relative equal lows there. We are quite bearish. Ooh, there we go. We have a sweep. Do we have a follow through? Want to see this logo? There we go. Okay, now let's see. Can we snipe out an entry somewhere over here? We don't really have anything to enter from in our discounted zone just yet. So I assume price will continue lower a little bit. All right, we just keep pushing on. And now at this point, we did take out our main target, but it seems like we aggressively. So if we now have a really aggressive recovery, I might no longer be interested, but otherwise I'm still comfortable with shorts here. Let's see, we have the breaker block right here, but with this momentum, I doubt we'll ever get back to that. And at this point, I doubt price is really going to come back. All right, a lot of people getting trapped into longs right here already, right? We're inducing liquidity as well. Let's see, okay. We have a sweep, right? We are still quite bearish. Want to see a bit more of a convincing close below. We already ran the lows here, of course. We are super extended. We took out this low, like a really clean sweep. So at this point, no, I'm not interested in this at all, actually. Oh, damn. Really harsh move back to the upside. I'm starting to get like this tingly feeling that we are not going to be able to hit our profit targets this month. I'm sorry, this week. It's 11. I doubt we will actually get more positions. Let's see, let's go till 12. Yep, that's going to be it. So in 2022, this week of November from this year, but then last year, we didn't actually manage to hit our 10% profit target. We only managed to get 9.2%, which is still very good, of course. Like, it's insane for 1 week of looking at the charts, but that's of course in 2 different sessions, which I never do. I only focus on 1 session. Still very good results, really nice trades. I hope you guys find value in the chart work. Let's quickly jump to the analytics here. All right, here we go with the analytics, and it's starting to get pretty crazy, but like the win rate of this continuation model, I think it has been consistently around like 80%, and the data set is starting to become really big, right? So at this point, I don't think anyone in the comments can start saying like, hey, this is not enough data, man. This is not enough data. We need more data, bro. Like, look at all the backtesting videos that we have so far. This is really solid stuff. And also, for some reason, it seems like we always start the Mondays off with a loss. That's very funny as well. But an 83.3% win rate, really nice. A 9.25% gain, which I think right now passes most prop firm challenges, right? An average R of 2, that's to be expected. Yeah, really clean stuff. Only 7 trades though. But yeah, that's more than 1 trade a day. That's pretty decent. So yeah, this was the session. Now guys, if you want to learn and learn how I look at the markets, the elite membership is still open right now. I will be closing it down in January, and I don't mean closing down as in no longer doing a mentorship. I mean that as in I will not be taking any new members. I'm going to really focus on the guys we have. I'm starting to see a lot of people who are becoming profitable, and I'm really going to change this around from mentoring people to collecting a group of traders that I can really grow with, right? So I'm teaching people how I see the markets, trading with them, and now my main focus is going to be to grow together with these people and do some amazing stuff. If you still want to be part of that, you do have till, I think even, I might even close it down in December already to start preparing for the next year. You can still join technically, but you would have to apply. You would have to have a decent background, a good work ethic, and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot more difficult to get in if you do not get refused or something. Spots are going to be limited as well. So if you're interested in that, take a look in the description. Also, we still have the free Discord server. So if you're looking for like-minded traders, or if you have a quick question for me, feel free to hop in there. And I will be more than happy to get back to your question, or one of the coaches or moderators will. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end, props on that. Like, this was a really long video. I've been recording for over an hour, so that's pretty insane. Alright, guys, thank you for watching. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.